is about the same money. The reason for the government deciding to go with the CWM. And I think I've listened to some of your interviews this morning, and I want to say that yes, in a larger extent, I agree with all the speakers, but I have some few disagreements, and I would make it known. The CWM was actually to improve the working capital of the operators in the value chain of providing energy to all of us. It was a challenge because if you had to leave that to ECG, then they are going to decide that today I pay entity A everything I owe and decide not to pay entity B anything at all. And that was creating challenges in terms of the liabilities or obligations we have to settle. Now, these liabilities or obligations have become a huge debt and have flown into the national budget. And that is why you heard about ESLA and all that, so that it became part of our debt as a nation. And therefore, government, to stem this, they decided to introduce the CWM, which will mean that there are allocations made against the revenues that will be collected by ECG. The challenges they are having with the CWM goes beyond today the allocation. Now, first and foremost, the auditors or the validators are unable to actually reconcile the amount of power, electricity, supplied to ECG and revenue collected against it. That is the first issue. Secondly, there are clear discrepancies in terms of what was received into the two collection accounts, i.e. JCB and Fidelity Bank. And there is a shortfall to the tune of about 629 million. What this means is that for ECG to collect every bill they owe into those accounts, whatever collection they were successful in, they have underdeclared. And therefore, what was supposed to go out is not actually what was paid out. Again, ECG is paying some of the tier 1 and tier 2 from other accounts other than the revenue account. What then this means is that ECG is receiving revenue into those accounts which are not mandated for that purpose. Then again, you have the issue where ECG allocation of 25% is being paid in excess. So what it means is that under the CWM, ECG is supposed to take 25% to settle their obligations. But looking at the analysis, at all times, ECG takes more than the 25%. And therefore, what is supposed to go to the IPGs, or you will say IPPs, are not exactly what is going to them. And that defeats the entire purpose of the CWM that was established. The consistency with which ECG is not complying is the issue we are talking about here. And I think that is what ended up in the reports of the PURC. The other challenge I have is the arrogance of ECG. And this squarely sits on the lap of the managing director. In fact, when they had a meeting with the auditors, ECG was directing the auditors what to do in terms of the validation of payment. ECG is saying that don't come and look at my bank account. Rather, third-party confirmation to those we have paid to ascertain that we have done the right thing. Now, you don't tell the auditor what tools or mechanisms or strategies he uses in actually assessing a particular risk. And I think that letter from ECG to PwC, for me, is most insulting and will best be described as arrogance of power, and that speaks a lot about the sector minister. If managers under you can actually speak this way, in effect, ECG was even telling the auditors that look, you don't have the right to go into certain areas because it does not encompass your scope. Now, is it ECG that engages the services of the auditor, or it was the PURC and the ministry? And for me, the essence of this is to at least improve the cash flow of all the value chain players in the energy sector, so that we can ensure some stability and not also accrue more debt in terms of the energy sector. If this is not achieved, then the entire essence of the CWM is totally missing. And I think that it is very necessary that we make this system or mechanism work. So if you ask me if it is about money, yes, everything about what we have said this morning, bottom line, is money. And the crisis we are facing is about money. If the West African gas pipeline and others close their taps at you, it is because you are not paying their bills. And if the IPGs cannot produce or generate power, it is because they have also not fulfilled their obligations to the fuel and other things they are buying. So whichever way you look at it, it is about money. We have over 5,000 installed and available capacity, which is capable of supplying our peak demand. And therefore, what again would you have to assign as the reason for what we are experiencing, except to say that we are not able to pay for fuel, and we are not also able to pay the value chain players for them to be able to generate power for us. That is the bottom line.
And if you look at everything you said, because you've even spoken about under declaration of what the ECG is getting, and the fact that they are making payments from accounts other than the revenue accounts that were agreed with the other parties, all this seem to be issues that would have been easily spotted and dealt with if governance was proactive. Don't you think so?
Exactly. I even find it a waste of money that a subsequent validation will have to be done, and we have to give that job to an auditor to do and spend money on that as well. I mean, we are already overburdened in terms of money issues. Look, clearly, the monies received are all not revenue. There are statutory monies received on behalf of government like that. There are other levies received like the street light and all that. And at the end of the day, who decides that this portion of the money received as revenue is to be given to government, and how much will be described as revenue and all that? We should have internal system to be able to determine this. Well, basically we are saying that we cannot even rely on the internal governance system of ECG. There are no internal auditors there. There is nobody to check what even the board, the management is doing, and appropriately report to the board. Because the internal auditors are in a way offshoot of the board. There should be an internal audit committee of the ECG. And some of these things should have been done or checked before even bringing in an external auditor. We are not told anywhere that such things are being done. I know the CWM also has some form of committee from the PULC end. What are they doing? In terms of the Ministry of Energy and the ministry itself, what mechanism have they put out? If you look at the report of PwC, it is some of the statements that they have made in that report is a huge indictment on the management and board of ECG. To the extent to say that the Excel sheets that is used to compute the CWM is not protected, and therefore anybody can change the formula and do as they want, and that they will recommend one which is protected. I mean, in this age and day, when you can easily get people to write a nice application to govern this, well protected. So yes, we can do better internally. The ECD could have done better. The PULC could have also put in mechanisms to check this from occurring, rather than allowing it to occur. Spend money to validate and come up with again, just do nothing. It's embarrassing. I don't know what is going on, but it is very embarrassing.
But and then so the board is gone. In fact, that board left. But there is the minister who, of course, if you've been listening to Nana Amwesi, believes that the minister should be the next person to follow. Do you agree?
Well, the minister, I don't think he has handled the sector well. I don't think that he has assisted or helped in achieving the level of transparency needed in that sector. Again, I think he does not have authority on the sector itself. And if we have to veer into other areas, which I don't want to, I think it is time it takes a bow. The other issue is this government is not known for that, and therefore I would expect him to take a bow out.
And you expect him to be fired?
Well, again, you have a president who is a bit lackadaisical when it comes to taking decisions to fire his employees or ministers, I should say. And therefore, again, that should have been the final alternative. But also, I don't think that is also going to happen. So it is just a matter of
time. Then let me conclude then by asking you. The finance minister has been communicating at the IMF rig meeting. What he says is that they want to do the single account, compel the ECG to run only one account. You already raised issues about ECG paying people from accounts that were not part of the accounts that were agreed under the cash waterfall mechanism. If he is able to do that, would that in any way deal with the issues of transparency, the issues of under declaration that you raised?
Well, no. That alone will not be able to stop the infractions. Now, what you need is a single account that others like the PULC, the Ministry of Finance, will have access to what goes in and will be able to insist for the right thing to be done. Just having a single account alone, with the ECG having authority over that account, and knowing that if they do not respect the directives, nothing will happen to them. They will continue to do what they are doing now, even with a single account. So really, that alone is not a solution. That is going to improve the issues of reconciliation. And that will give some level of confidence to sector players that when we say this is what we collected, truly and truly, that is what we collected. As we speak, because of the nature of their operations, no one within the sector is going to believe that ECG only collected something over $1 billion. No, they are not going to trust that or believe that. And therefore, they would make more demands and all that. See, the transparency will help the system. That I know that this man, I will be paid. And I'm expecting to be paid so much. But I will be able to receive such amount. And that will be enough for me to stay in business. That is what is needed. Having a single account alone in itself is not a solution.
Nii, thank you very much for speaking to us. I think we'll find time so that you can come in studio and so that we'll have a much more extensive conversation on this matter. But thank you for speaking to us this morning.
Right.
Nii Yarboi Annan is a financial analyst speaking to us this morning on this very the issue that will never go away. That government will not